Well, it's time for the next veteran story a week. Probably jumping in a bit early, but I was a bit late with the other one, so be it. Today I'm going to tell you about a female veteran who has given me inspiration of what to do when you're a victim. And this story will actually outline exactly what to do when you're a victim, is maintain your strength of character and push things right through to the end and get everything back on track. As a younger girl in the Navy, this particular woman stood up as a whistleblower to protect other women and other members of her group from bullying and bastardisation and sexual abuse that was happening in the workplace. In standing up to do so, as a result of that, there was members disciplined and a number of other things happened, as you would expect, because this type of behaviour is not tolerated. However, the whistleblower becomes the victim. The whistleblower falls into a chain of command where there has been reputations ruined and friends looking after friends and doing what we do in the armed services. This lady was the victim of very much abuse, both verbally, mentally, ostracised. She tried to change out of her trade to move over to another trade to actually get away from the bullying and the bastardisation which was taking place, only to have it follow her to the next trade. She went through the system and eventually was, as anyone would be, broken down by this sort of behaviour, which resulted as her with a quite severe psychiatric diagnosis. She wanted a discharge from the military. She wanted a medical discharge, but was unable to stay in the military long enough for that to take place because of the bullying and bastardisation. She left the military on a discharge own request. After leaving the military, with the ongoing psychiatric impact which what had happened over her experiences, it flowed on, as it does in many cases, over to family and friends. This woman ended up at the stage where she was separated from her family, separated from her children. She ended up homeless at one stage. She engaged the assistance of an advocate and started the process of getting what was liability accepted on the basis of what had happened to her in defence. Defence accepted the liability for this. However, because she had discharged at her own request and managed to find employment for a short period of time before losing that employment, they refused to pay her incapacity payments on the basis that she never left work because of her accepted condition. She moved from Queensland and she came down to Melbourne to get family support. Another advocate friend of mine, Rod Thompson, initially had her case on, and it was at the Administrative Appeals Tribunal in regarding her incapacity payments. She moved down and got the support of her family, lived with her mother, and went through the process of getting a briefing back from me and staying quite stoic, wanting to make sure that the right thing was done by her so she could get back on with her life. After about, paperwork lodged, we'll go by backdating, 2014, in 2018, this year, the case was resolved. As the case was resolved, the Administrative Appeals Tribunal ordered that incapacity payments be backdated to 2014. Over this period of time, she had gone through and lodged through the Ombudsman, through the Victims of Abuse, for the apology from the Navy. She pushed through with this whilst putting her life back on track, moved into her own house, regained her confidence, re-engaged life, re-engaged with more family members, has stepped out of a comfort barrier and is growing to be the confident woman I'm sure she was before all of this started. This story does have a happy ending. Through the abuse suffered in Navy, through the abuse suffered at the hands of the Department of Veteran Affairs, through the demoralising process of going through the reconsideration process, the administrative appeals process, of collecting the evidence to actually put her case forward with myself. Her medical discharge was applied for and put in retrospect. Again, backdating applied, giving her ability to get on with her life. This is the type of victim which I hope I would be if I was in the same situation. I would hope that as a victim, you identify that you need to fix things. You need to be compensated adequately. You need to come forward and push to get things fixed up. But as a victim, not only has she done all of this and regained her life, she is now pushing for whistleblower protection in the Navy. Now, this is something which hasn't been considered by Defence ever, as far as I know. When raised with Defence, and to the best of our knowledge, has now been raised with the Chief of Navy. We have the suggestion that whistleblower protection in its simplest form could be a matter of giving a person an option of coming forth as a whistleblower to say that they have been bastardised in the system. That the system then put forward that they can take 6 months leave. During that 6 months leave, they get given the chance to educate into a new industry. They get given $150,000 to resettle and movements to the new location. So this type of thing cannot happen and have the ongoing effects right throughout families, children, husbands, wives, mothers and fathers. This simple method of providing whistleblower protection would stop the ongoing harassment leading on to mental health, leading on to massive payments that go together to fix this person's life, which gets broken purely because they are a whistleblower. This one option I put forward to the Chief of Navy is just one of many which are available, which would save money. It would save a lot of money. It would also give the strength, which is trying to be pushed down within our defence forces, for people to be responsible for the person next to them, for them to stand up and do the right thing. I take my hat off to this veteran for not only being the victim, but showing me exactly what to do if you are a victim. You don't back down, you push forward, you get the outcome, and you do what's right. Sadly, many of our whistleblowers have ended up in situations where they have taken their own life. Sadly, this is a statistic which is not even looked at. However, we know as advocates that it is the case. I hope you take this away as a victim does not have to be a hopeless victim. A victim can be a person that gets resolve, fights through the system, and identifies the problem after getting her own circumstances sorted out, and have the strength of character to fix a problem which would have stopped her case getting to this point. This is my veteran story of the week, and I would like to praise the strength of this veteran for stepping forward and actually going up one step more of trying to get whistleblower protection in the Army, Navy and Air Force. It is not rocket science. Thank you.